Hello once again. My name is Larry Vincent Rahensha, and today we will learn how to manage accounts in PLMS. I hope you are doing well in this PLMS journey. So let's get started. At the end of this module, you should be able to apply the following in your PLMS. We navigate to the user accounts menu. So the accounts has a lot of options actually. So we will also view the different account management options. We will be able to upload and add individual users. At the same time, we can also add multiple users using a CSV file. And then we are going to look into user maintenance options as well as check. We'll try to log in to one particular user to see if the changes are already working or not. Once again, I know for some it might be challenging option for this PLMS to work with. But don't worry and don't be shy to ask questions in our Q&A, or you can even message us directly or email support directly. And as a prerequisite to this module, I would want to have your PLMS up and running already. And we will cover the following as presented here. So we navigate the PLMS, user account menu options, we look into adding, updating, and viewing the list of users, as well as testing and checking the user accounts. This portable learning management system is quite unique, right? Because it can work even without internet connection. So it is an offline version of a learning management system. And in here, data integrity is really very important, considering that you will have users for every instance of your PLMS, considering you place this in a USB drive. So it is very, very important to look into a proper, make sure to always do log out properly and stop PLMS properly as well. So we will be looking into viewing and navigating to the user accounts because we want to have control in terms what we can do in terms of the users. So what are the username, their password, because we have to set this up at the very beginning. Then we also look into bulk actions on the user accounts. Let's say, for example, you want to start all over. You don't want to remove them individually, so we can do a remove all. Logging in and testing of the user accounts is the last thing that we will do as well. So from your PLMS menu, we go through into the user account. This is actually an admin role. So you as a teacher will have that admin role already. Then you can view the users and then at the same time upload users. Okay, how are we doing so far? I hope you are still there with me. At this time, we are going to look into account management. So as you can see, you have your entire course, you have this PLMS, it's your learning platform. But what about the students that's going to use? How are you going to manage them? So I'm going to discuss on account management. So first, we are going to go into navigating first into the account management. And the most straightforward approach in this process is actually to add the users manually. So it's actually just adding a user in any, let's say for example, in Excel. It's as easy as that. But first, I want you to go to your PLMS. So at their very home page, when you click on My Courses, you would be able to see this particular menu. As you can see on my screen, at the very top, right? You have your name and then you have the Preferences menu. Kindly click on that one. After which, on the right side of the page, you should see a gear icon. And when you click on the gear icon, you should see Site Administration as well. Once you see the Site Administration, I want you to click on the Site Administration and it's going to display further menu. And you can see there users. After which, when you expand users, you should be able to see multiple sub-menus as well. And then when you go to browse list of users, you would be able to be led to a page where you can see the number of users that are currently in the system. So this is one way for you to be able to look into how many users you have already. All right. All right. So as you can see, if you're going to add users in the previous slide, we have been using the add option there, but we are adding users individually. And if you have 10 or more, it could quite be tedious adding those kind of users, those number of users uh, one at a time. So the other option that we can do is using the bulk import. So in this case, we're going to navigate first to the bulk import or uploading multiple users. So from your main screen, you go back to your preferences, or if you're already there, you can go directly to your users. And when you expand that one, uh, there's an option, upload users. So that particular option will lead you to upload users here using a CSV file. Now, in that particular file, it will require you to upload using a CSV file with the different column names as the field names in this case. So you might notice on when you click on the question mark just after the upload users, it will provide you a tooltip, some information or details with regards to the file. So the field name would require a username, a password, first name, last name, and email. All right. So in the next slide, I'm going to show you an example of that. So in this case, I'm going to show you a CSV file example. So it will be just like you can open this file in Excel, but then you have to save it as a CSV file. So based on the requirement on the PLMS, it requires us to have a username, a password, a first name, a last name, and an email. So you can follow this format that you can see here on screen. Now, once you're done with that one, make sure to save the file as CSV, and then you upload it. So you attach the file, as you can see on the screen in your PLMS. And then once you upload it, you should be able to see at least a preview of the first 10 users in there. So it would look like this one. So once you have uploaded that one, you can easily navigate into each one of them. So there's an option there to upload users, and once it's uploaded successfully, you should be able to see them in your uh, browse list of users. The user profile can be very useful for updating and managing individual users. So as you can see in the screen, I have captured a screenshot of one particular user that is actually part on my users list. So when I click on the edit profile, the one on the right side of the screen is actually the details. You can actually see a lot more fields down below that particular page. So from there, you can actually update all the fields uh, in there. So for the passwords, user passwords are actually included already. If you're using the CSV upload, when adding new multiple users, the password is already carried over. So, but you can always change the password anytime through the profile page of every user. Bulk user actions are actually quite important when implementing actions, not just for one, but multiple accounts at the same time or multiple users. So as you can see on the left image here in this particular slide, you can see the link for bulk user actions. So when you click on that particular menu, you will be displayed or you will be brought to this particular users in list page. So from here, those are the options at the bottom for you to be able to perform in bulk. So if you're going to select multiple users at the same time using your shift key together with a click, so you can select while holding the shift key, you can actually click on multiple users at the same time, and then you can actually click on the options at the bottom. So you can add to selection, you can remove from selection, add all, remove all. So in that case, it is much easier for you to manage if you're dealing with multiple users at the same time. The best way to log in or to test a user account is actually to log in using that particular account. So the best way to do this one is you have to log out from your primary account. So in this case, you see the menu at the top, so you have to log out. And then on the second image, where you see the username and password, that's the time you log in using the student account. In that case, you would be able to apply or test the username and password that was used during uploading or during adding the new user. In this way, you can verify to see if what they have entered is actually working or not. So once you're able to successfully log in, you should be see your dashboard where you can see all the courses, and this time you would be able to see only those subjects that you can enroll, and this particular role or this particular page will be dependent on the role that you're trying to log in. So in the case of a student, you will only see the list of courses. In summary, the PLMS account management is a very important aspect of the PLMS platform. So user account management is very important, and this is because the users of our PLMS are actually our students. So we have to make sure all of them are already there and the accounts are working. We have to make sure that all the student profiles are correct, including the username and password. So to simplify, it is always best to implement some naming conventions in terms probably of our username, because we as a teacher, we will be the one doing this part. So for example, in the case of a username, we can have the first letter or the first name plus the surname or the last name. So in the case of John Smith, the username would be J Smith. And probably the password, it could be something to do the end of the, what do you call this, the end of the ID. So you can come up with your own naming convention for the password as well, because this one is quite challenging at some point. Individual and CSV users upload. So you can do both an individual uh, account adding, and at the same time you can also do a CSV upload for multiple users. So it is actually advisable to do a multiple upload so that it would be much easier for you to manage, especially on the usernames and the password handling. One thing I would want you to remember always is that the PLMS platform is quite sensitive to data integrity, and you have to be very careful when exiting the PLMS. So you must log out properly. Make sure that you exit Spoodle properly as well, and avoid doing shortcuts of closing the windows directly so that you will not cause any problems in your PLMS itself. All right. So I hope you're learning something new today as well, and I'll see you in the next modules. Once again, thank you. And this is Larry Vincent Rehenshaw for PLMS Account Management.